All right, ready? This is what we're gonna do.
Should I point when you point?
No, I'm gonna say. Man,
Just say
I
it.
should have thought of the introduction.
Hi, my name's Scott Lasher.
Hi, I'm Scott from Underground Nutrition, and I'm here with Frankie Pro Viziano, world's strongest man, world's 30th strongest man.
I don't know if that's accurate.
What do you know with your?
No, my current ranking? No, I have no idea.
World's 275th 75th strongest man.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
That's actually pretty fairly impressive.
Side, yeah.
All right. So what we wanted to do is like a podcast kind of thing. John and Justin weren't available today for our normal podcast, so I thought we'd bring Frankie Pro, longtime friend, to the show. And it's gonna be a barn burner.
I'm here to be ridiculed. I feel it.
Oh, I would never make fun of you, Frank.
No.
You're bigger than me now. Not in the camera, but
No, you're out angling me big time. What do I have to?
there's an old video of us on Instagram. Remember that with the cut off shirts?
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Does he look bigger than me?
He is bigger than you.
He's not. I mean, come on. He's heavier than me.
I'm heavy.
All right. Back when I was a bodybuilder and you were still small,
Was I small or was I large?
you were heavier than
I was
me.
fatter.
You were heavy. Yeah,
I was
now,
fat.
My, how the tables have turned.
Yeah, well, listen. You had a lot of injuries along the way.
Oh, I think you
Show them the bicep.
Has anybody ever seen it? I don't think I've showed it. Is that normal?
Erotic.
I mean, this one's alright. Is it? It sucks.
I feel like there's a fetish out there for that.
Is there something wrong with it?
Yeah. How's your strength? Right arm versus left arm.
For like dumbbell curls, it's like 60% the strength of this arm. So I just
What
keep
about like rows?
rows. Now that I've been like training with it, it's like gotten accustomed to it.
Mm-hmm.
At first, when I was training with it, it would like fill with blood really quick and ache like really bad. But now it's become sort of secondary. The thing I feel it the most on is pressing on the way down because I don't have no breaks. Anyway, so let's. You've been a longtime friend of Underground Nutrition. How did we
5
meet?
years.
Do you remember how we met?
Shit, I remember how I met Alan. I met Alan at Retro Fitness in Howell.
That's right. Yeah.
We were training. He had I had on a Guy Sister Nino shirt. Something about like
Quadrino.
Quadra.
Wake up, train, kill, fucking everybody.
Mine was like, you might be the biggest fish in your pond, but I'm a different animal with 4 legs. I don't know, something.
It's like it says like motherfucker with like asterisks and
It said something on it. Anyway,
I have
the
one
shirt
of those.
fit well.
Yeah, it's one of those like dry fit or
Still fits really well.
the long sleeve hoodie ones.
But yeah, I met Alan. He said he's got a nutrition shop. Turned out we had some stuff in common.
We did, yeah. All of us.
So I came up here. I met you.
Mm-hmm.
Had no idea how to get a read on you.
the fuck?
Stoic.
What does that mean?
I felt like you were stoic.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't know. You seemed a little... Just before I knew you, you know? Then again, I was probably apprehensive. Jumping out of my skin.
Sure.
At that time in my life.
You were early in recovery. You had just stopped using
Everything.
the booze and the drugs, right?
Yeah, I think it was probably 3 months.
And we thought, let's give this guy a job.
Sure, hired.
Let's give this guy a job.
Well, sure, I could talk smartly about
He can.
a lot of the stuff that's on the shelves. At least semi-smartly.
Yeah, you know what you're talking about for sure.
More than most, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Worked out pretty good for a while.
So let's back up. Let's back up a little. Let's talk about that. Like a recover. How'd you end up in a 3 months clean situation? What was the story leading up to that?
Well, where was I? Let's see. I was running around Atlantic City shooting speedballs.
Okay.
That was fun. Anyway, it ended the way all things end.
Sure.
One of the ways all those things end.
Yeah.
I ended up in rehab.
Okay.
Again.
Mm-hmm.
Came out, finally did the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
I went to detox, I went to rehab, went to an extended stay facility, and then I took the advice and I went to a sober house, which was in Howell.
Yeah.
By the Retro over there.
Yeah. I lived in that one, I think.
Yes, you did.
We lived in the same one.
Do you know that it burned down now? Yeah, remember, because I got your mail that one day.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah. What street was South Ave? South Street?
Sounds right. I don't
It was an Oxford house, right?
It was I must have been Oxford, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
That's how I met Al, and that's how I met you.
And then when you started working for us, right?
Yeah, I had to be, I don't know, a few months after that, or very shortly thereafter.
When did you get into drugs? Like, how old were you? Like, drugs?
Drugs?
Like, when did it become...
When I dropped out of high school.
When were you like, this
out,
is a fucking problem?
I didn't fucking drop out of high school.
I was going to say, I didn't know that.
No, when I dropped out of college, my first college,
Mm-hmm.
I came home and I started doing coke and shit. And, I had depression and anxiety, so I had all those medicines that went along with it.
Sure. Yeah.
So, coke, Xanax, passing out, all that fun stuff.
How old were you around that time? 20s? Early 20s?
19.
19, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then obviously progressed. Had my wisdom teeth taken out.
Gave you some perks.
Perks and Vikes, 4 rounds of each. And that was it.
Yeah.
Fell in love.
That'll do it.
Fell in love.
That'll do it for a lot of people.
Just nodding out in the shower for 3 hours and
Not feeling your teeth. Teeth didn't hurt.
felt nothing.
Yeah. So, where does the military fit into this timeline? I know you did some time in the military.
Oof.
What branch of the military were you in? And did you go to the military as a result of it being like drugs being a dead end?
Yes and no. So, like, growing up, I was always running around in the woods. One of my coaches was a Marine. We had his old fatigues. We used to play in the woods, play manhunt.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah.
More than the other guys did. I always wanted to be a soldier. But, I don't know. Shit was getting bad, man. I was smoking a lot of crack.
Yeah.
A lot of drugs.
All right.
Feeling real shitty.
Sure.
And it sounded like a good idea to change my life.
I think it's a lot of people do that. I think it's not a bad idea sometimes. I don't know. So
You got to remember, it was after 9/11, right?
Yeah.
So I knew I'd be going to war. I signed up. Crackhead signs up to
And you were actively
be a Green
using.
Beret.
You're actively using. And,
When I signed up, not when I went there.
Okay.
Signed up to be a Green Beret, and didn't happen.
You didn't become a Green Beret.
No, I sure didn't. Did you know I lacked life skills? You believe that? Sons of bitches.
Yeah. Micah, mentally.
What?
What's Micah?
I have no idea, but
It's like
probably
mental illness cross addicted. That's like the term for people who have mental illness and addiction. Well, okay.
Them too.
Me? No.
Us.
Cross addicted, yeah.
But friggin'. So I went to the military. I signed up, and if you don't make special forces, you go needs of the Army. So they sent me to Fairbanks, Alaska, to a unit that was deployed, and shipped my ass right over to Iraq.
How long did you do in Iraq?
First tour was 8 months. Came back for a couple years, and then my second tour was a full year.
So looking back on it, do you regret the decision to go or not?
No, I don't regret anything, really, because everything I've done has brought me right here. You know what I mean? I'm really fucking happy with where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good way of looking at it. But do you think overall the military had a positive influence or a negative influence?
Yeah, absolutely. I was raised softish.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my father was a hard man.
Yeah.
But my mother babied the shit out of me.
Sure.
They did what they could. You know, they did their best. But just whatever was in me was soft, and it made me see the real world. Like, nobody's going to give a shit about your feelings. It's going to suck, and you're going to have to get through it anyway.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You know, so I'm glad that happened to me. Sometimes I find it hard to soften up for other people, though. Like my clients, people I train, people I work with.
Yeah.
But like when you're like that with your girlfriend, for example,
Yeah.
you need to have that soft touch, and I don't always have it.
Yeah, so it made you into a man, but possibly calloused.
Calloused is a generous description.
Yeah.
Generous description.
Yeah. All right. So, but overall, you would say it was a positive impact in your life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, you did 8 months in Iraq.
Yeah, I loved it.
You loved it.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you saw action.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Not a whole ton. You know, it wasn't like you saw in the movies, but I kicked a few doors, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Got blown up a couple times.
Yeah.
I liked it. Not necessarily that part of it, but it was very simple. You know, it wasn't complicated. You woke up, you went on mission, you lifted weights, you took a shower, you went to sleep.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what I do now.
Yeah.
You know, there's black and white.
Yeah.
There wasn't 150 cereals to choose from.
Discipline.
Not even
Forced discipline.
Regimentation.
Yeah, regimentation. I work the best regimented. You know, I have a difficult time navigating with
Spontaneity,
free time, and floating around, not knowing. I need discipline.
a lot of years of abuse.
Very funny.
A lot of years of abuse.
So you go to Iraq.
I go.
And you come home.
I come home back into garrison.
And now, are you still active?
So after the first time I came back to the army, I got popped for coke. Overseas,
Really?
when I'm overseas,
Were you using over there at all?
not overseas.
Not
I was
once.
dialed the fuck in.
No.
Using Superdrol.
So, you have some Superdrol mailed to you?
No, I just ordered it. Bodybuilding.com or whatever.
Oh yeah, the
It's still legal back then.
Euro King.
It's 2006.
Oh right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're all on it. Guys are lactating and
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
Guys are,
I don't mind if my military is using some gear.
No, I don't mind
Yeah.
either. We were meat eaters, bro. It's cool.
So you go there, you come home, you're pretty much straight edge over there. You smoke any weed or anything?
No. In Iraq, no.
No.
Straight
And then
edge.
you come back,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get popped with some coke.
Yeah, I was a drinker, a partier. I lost that whole regimentation, plus the dopaminergic rush, the dopamine surge
Yeah.
that you had every time you got in that
Yeah,
truck to
yeah.
go out.
Yeah.
Wasn't there.
I think that's pretty common for guys, right? Like you
Yeah.
lose that, you start to lose your edge a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to adjust to that. It
It's
takes time.
civilian life.
Mm-hmm. But then it's not even civilian life. It's just garrison life.
Yeah.
And then you train up. 2 years later, you go back over. Again, same deal.
Wait, what happened to the charge? Like, did it,
Okay, so I had to do extra duty. I had to work from like 5 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock at night for like 60 days straight. They tried to cut my pay,
Yeah.
but I weaseled my way around that. You set up an allotment, they can't touch your allotments.
Yeah.
You hear that? You set up an allotment, they can't touch your allotments.
for all your drug using military
For all your drug
guys.
using military guys, don't do it. And then, I got demoted all the way down, back to private. Lower than I was when I started the military.
Okay.
It took me about 2 years, but I was E4, 4 units up, 4 ranks up.
Yeah.
When I deployed the second time. And then very shortly thereafter, they gave me my sergeant because, I had experience in country. And over there was nothing to trip me up. I was just laser eyes back at it again.
Yeah.
Trained soldiers in CrossFit. My squad won CrossFit competition. I won my first Strongman competition over there.
Yeah. So you're doing like competitions, like
Little stuff,
setting
little
them up,
bullshit stuff.
just to keep it,
Yeah.
keep some friendly competition with the guys.
Yeah, they called it mandatory fun day or some shit like that. Everybody just wanted to chill out.
Yeah.
They would make you do some bullshit.
Yeah.
Camaraderie and morale and all that.
So how did your military service come to an end?
Well, not true. Not well. So after that tour...
Do you not want to talk about that? I can cut that.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm not ashamed of anything that I've done.
Yeah, no, me neither.
You're not ashamed of anything I've done?
Maybe. No, I am ashamed of some things you've done.
Yeah, good. Let's not talk about that. We're going to keep that between us. But so I came back after my second tour. Once again, fell into a bad pattern. This time I found my real love.
Yeah.
Oxy, of course.
Yeah, opiates, sure.
And
How'd you come across Oxy?
There's always somebody who
Yeah.
knows somebody in town, yada, yada.
Now, were you fucking with opiates at all up until this point?
Very little. Very little.
Yeah.
A couple of perks here and there.
Yeah.
The thing with the military is, if you have a problem and you ask for help, before they catch you, you can't get in trouble. Right?
Yeah.
So I asked for help.
Okay. Because you knew it was spiraling out of control, or you actually wanted the help?
I wanted help. I was out of money.
Yeah.
Let's be serious.
Yeah.
So they sent me to my first rehab, Denton, Texas. I came back from that. I did pretty good. Pretty sure I had a margarita on the airport on the way home, though. I just didn't get it.
Yeah.
Didn't get it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they were trying to kick me out of the Army, dishonorable discharge, even though I had asked for help. So I wrote a letter to the chaplain, and I made it known, listen, I asked for help. You're going to hammer everybody who asks you for help.
Yeah.
You can have a lot of guys who are fucked up in the head from just coming home from overseas on a rifle range, batshit crazy, that aren't allowed to ask for help.
Right.
What kind of precedent does that set?
Right.
So, from the beginning, I was a manipulator, and I manipulated my way right out of that situation. So I have an honorable discharge. It's my firm belief I was a good soldier. I just had some extra baggage that followed me in garrison. Overseas, I did what I was supposed to do, and I took care of my soldiers, brought everybody home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't really know. What is the consequences of an honorable discharge? Is there any, or do you still get benefits?
No, honorable is good.
Honorable's good, right?
Honorable's good. Yeah, dishonorable, you're not qualified for any of that.
But so you like legit, you're.
Oh yeah, I'm good. I'm service connected.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm good.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, well, I went through a lot of shit. So like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It doesn't seem like our government's too big on trying to help our veterans out too much.
Yeah, most guys I know would rather go to a regular doctor
Mm-hmm.
than a military doctor. Even on the outside, even when they're civilians, we don't want to go to the VA.
Right.
Even though, from what I understand, it's been improved quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. You mean it's improved?
It has. The VA has improved quite a bit.
The quality of the
but it's still shit.
Yeah.
Compared to, public medicine. What would you call that? Private medicine. Private medicine.
Well, yeah, it's all private now, well, except for the public shit. And public shit's terrible. All right, so let's go. So I would imagine that. So now you get the honorable discharge, and now this creates a vacuum in your life. Now you're at a point where what? How old are you at this
Zero
point?
plan.
How old are you at this point?
26 or 7.
So you're left with this vacuum.
Yeah.
You were active service member. Now you're not.
Correct.
So how long does it take you to stop? I mean, I know the addiction is it's a constant battle, but at what point do you come into to training, and how does it all fit into your life?
I bounce back and forth, man. There's always been some semblance of me lifting weights. When I came home, I bought myself a CrossFit set.
Yeah.
And I erected a 20-foot tower with a climbing rope in the backyard of my parents' house. So I've always been some sort of training.
Sure.
Even when I was drinking, I'd go out there and I'd pound fucking a couple of cocktails and work out. When it got real bad, obviously that shit went to the side.
Yeah.
Fast forward to 2017, 7 years later. In and out of rehabs, on methadone, off methadone, heroin, cocaine, pretty much everything under the sun. Lots and lots of booze. I finally got clean the first time.
Yeah.
That's when I met Alan. That's when I met you.
Yep. Yeah.
That is when I met a dude named Jamie Ragazzo. He's an old school strongman, rather.
Yeah.
He seen me deadlifting one day, and he's like, "Bro, you're fucking strong." And I was like, "Dude, you're fucking ripped. How old are you?" She never should have said that. He didn't like that. He goes, "I'm a pro strongman." I was like, "You're pretty small for a pro." I had
You're shredded.
no couth, nothing.
Yeah.
But no, he was shredded. He stayed shredded. He's a mason, so he's working in the sun all day, and he's training.
Yeah.
But he's like, "Yeah, I train with these guys. Why don't you come out and hang out with us?" So I started going and doing strongman with him, and I picked it right up.
Yeah.
Picked it right up.
And you've stuck with that ever since.
Stuck with it ever since.
Yeah.
For good or for better or worse.
For better or for worse.
Yeah.
So that's a brief introduction into how you got into strongman.
Yep.
Necessity, trying to
Fill a void.
fill the void. I think a lot of us come to that.
Yeah.
I think
What were you trying to fill with your training?
I mean,
Which void?
I mean, I think we get along so well because we have similar stories. Although, I mean, there's no honorable discharges for me.
No, you just you didn't ETS either. What's it called when you get out of prison?
People say that it's a down and out. Sometimes people say down and out, or
When you're done.
I think what's the other one? Everything to go, ETG. So it's like, but all I heard was last year pack of shit. And I was like,
You weren't counting down the days or anything, right? Had no idea.
I was maxed out.
Oh, okay.
No, I maxed out. So I guess people. I don't know. Some people know, but similarly to you, is I had. I'm 10 years clean now. Just about 10 years clean. But in my mid-20s, I had caught a robbery charge. I robbed a drug dealer, and that set off a chain of events that led me to I did about 5 years in prison. I did 3 years straight. I came home. I picked up some charges in 60 days, and I did another 2.
What were those charges? What did they say you did?
Well, they said
right. You can't say what you do.
It was manufacturing, distribution,
Right.
all that stuff. Because when I came home, we hit the ground running, And prison is an interesting thing. I think if you were to compare like PTSD stories from guys in war, the only other thing I've ever heard that's even close to that is the stuff that goes on in prison. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I had like a hard time and that I saw anything close to what you saw, but I understand why some guys can't adjust to the streets.
So I have a question for you before we get back onto the onto the prison things. I have questions about prison, but tell me, a rando 19-year-old kid comes up to you in the gym mid-session.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, what are you running? Dude, this happened to me in Crunch the other day. I was training one of my clients.
I mean, people don't ask me that anymore, which kind of makes me sad. But
hey man, what are you running? This other Italian dude who was training next to me, I was like, bro, listen to what this kid said. I was like, dude, ask him. Ask me again what you just asked me. He goes, I asked him what he was running. He goes, you fucking like your teeth? Like, really? Do we ask that now? We just come out and...
I think the culture's changed. The whole thing with gear has changed. I used to get that when I was big. I was at my biggest. People would come in here and they would literally try to buy steroids here.
I remember you telling me about that. What did you weigh? 296, right?
That was massive. The biggest I ever got.
Massive.
Well, like when I was shredded, when I was like cut, I weighed like 255, 260.
More impressive.
I was big. Yeah. I was a big guy.
Yeah. You're still a big guy.
Well, not as cool. Not as... I don't care anymore. My philosophy on training and all of that has changed so much over the years.
Sure.
It doesn't do what it once did. Now it serves a totally different purpose.
I mean, you held records for powerlifting, didn't you do
something? I mean, everybody had an RPS record.
Oh, dude.
That's when I started in powerlifting. Like, I got clean. I started training in prison.
What was that like?
Calisthenics.
Okay.
They didn't give me access to a weight yard to my last 2 months, right? So there was a gym, but nobody's allowed to go there. It was 23-1. You know, like
I don't know what that is.
That means you're locked down 23 hours.
23-1. Okay.
Double lock. That's how most of it is now. There were so many riots and so much stuff that happened that New Jersey just said, okay, most of the... Technically, I was in a youth correctional, but it wasn't. I mean, I was in my 20s.
Right.
It's everybody from 18 to 35 in Garden State, And there was a weight room, but somebody got fucking crushed with a dumbbell.
Of course.
Maybe you went there. I think in the 3 years I was there, I went there twice. But they'll pull rec for nothing. But mostly it's pull-ups, push-ups, bodyweight squats, water bags. And then you're just subject to whatever food that they have.
And how was that? That was one of the things I wanted to ask too.
Was the food like?
Yeah, I mean, besides what they served, you had commissary, yeah?
You have commissary. So the best things you could get was like packs of tuna,
right?
So obviously soup. There was different types of protein you could get, like octopus in pouches. I mean, it was disgusting. Yeah, you'd be surprised. They say they fry it, and it comes in oil, and you put it in the microwave.
Sure, I know what it is.
Fries up, and then you mix it.
Octopus.
Make like hookups,
Okay. That's a
high
combination platter for those of you that don't know. You said pull rec time, like you fall right back into it real quick. You better be careful. Yes. Pull rec time, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what that means.
Yeah, pull your rec, man. It's for no reason. It would be like you'd be standing at your door ready to go to rec, and the cop would go, "Rec's canceled." You'd be like, I guess I'll just go fuck myself.
Literally.
Nothing you could do.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing you could do. But I was athletic in high school. I was a regular dude. I went to college. I got hooked on drugs, paid the price, ended up in state prison as a result. And I tried to make the best of it, It's just...
Sure. So
that was the situation. And I trained pretty hard in there. I mean, I trained 5 or 6 days a week, and it was basically push-pull legs. That's how we trained.
Yeah.
We trained as hard as we could, and we ate as good as we could. And we tried to be as militant as possible, because you're in prison, and you can be loosey-goosey if you want, but it's a good way to get yourself cut up. And I got through it, and that's it. That's it. And then when I got out, I was started with nothing. I had nothing. When I finally got clean and got my life together and decided to flip the switch and to try to let go of some of the demons and stop like chasing a feeling, to just live life on life's terms, I had nothing. I had a garbage bag of somebody else's clothes. That's a true story. Not $1 in my pocket. I went to a halfway house, and I just kept my head down. And I got into lifting. That's how I met Alan. We were both in early recovery. And I trained at first with no real goal other than narcissism, or to fill a void, or to be tired at night, to not think, to shut my mind off. And it's the one thing that you can do that has the results are clear, quick. You know,
oh my God.
You can work every day in a construction job and not get anywhere. You can go to every meeting in the world and feel like you're not getting anywhere in your recovery. But you can train and you can eat right and you can look in the mirror in the morning and say, at least I have control of this. And it's when I got in, it was just basically to fill the void of where drugs were, you know. And then I was like, I want to be the strongest person I can be. And then I started powerlifting. And then at some point I was like, I want to be the most aesthetic I can be. And then I did that for a while.
Right.
And then eventually these things, like my goals ended up changing. Then I wanted to play contact sports again, and I did that. And then
how'd that turn out for you?
I got hurt.
It's your rugby over here, just rubber buttons.
I got fucking hurt, you know. But the way I think about training now versus 10 years ago is a totally different thing. I was treading water back then. I was training just for something to do.
Sure.
And I want it. Prison's weird what it does to you, and like being somebody from addiction is like you don't ever see the ends. I remember, and I've told this story before to some of my close friends, but I remember very clearly being a couple years in and like laying on the bunk, the top bunk in my cell, and thinking like, how is this ever going to turn out well? Like who's ever going to want to fuck with me? Like how does this story end other than badly? You know what I mean?
I do. Exactly what you mean.
It's like a loneliness. Like prison is violent and it sucks. It also could be fun and like get fun with your friends and shit. Like
sure. I mean,
bug out.
Relative. It's relative.
It's all relative.
Yeah.
You find like solace where you can. Like you make friendships where you can. But it's the most lonely, empty place in the entire world. I don't care what anyone says. You could be. These motherfuckers think like talk about prison like it's fucking cool. It's the fakest and gayest thing in the world. It's the least cool thing in the world. There's nothing worse than a guy who comes home and just doesn't drop it. Like, holy, nobody cares, bro. Nobody cares.
I get it.
You know? But, like where I am now, 10 years later, down the road, like you, I don't have any.
How long did it take you to drop it?
It took a little while. I knew right away that nobody cared. It's like your deadlift. Nobody cares. Nobody cares how much you can deadlift. You say a number to someone, how much can you deadlift?
Right.
700 pounds. You could say 800 pounds. You
right.
could say 500. Nobody gives a shit. But nobody cares that you just came home. You know what I mean? Like, and nobody cares that you used to eat the soup and wash your boxers in the sink. You know what I mean?
Whatever.
Fuck a fifi. Like nobody cares.
Wait, you got to go to prison to do that?
You can make one at home.
Should we do an instructional?
Yeah.
On how to?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think any of it is cool. And like, I know people like sometimes want to hear war stories and stuff, and I have some funny prison stories like anybody else does. But at the end of the day, it's cornball shit. Like,
sure.
Like, I know guys who like talk about it, bro, you act like you just came home.
Dude,
you were home for 6 years. Knock it off.
In the same vein, I'm in the same vein. I said like I don't regret my time in the military. I don't. But the further I get from it, the better I do.
Yeah.
The better I am.
Yeah.
There's some shit ingrained in me that's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But the further I get away from it, the further I step out of that space. It took me fucking years, 7 of them to be exact.
Yeah.
I'm still going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
The further I got away from resting on that, the better off I'm doing now. You know?
Yeah.
Probably the same exact thing with you, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Like, the further your mindset gets away from that,
what do they call it? Indoctrinated, institutionalized.
Institutionalized, yeah.
Because listen, military is institutionalized too.
Yeah.
Not to that level, of
Yeah.
course.
And then there's
but,
degrees of that too. The guy who's done 20 years versus the guy that does 5 years. You
Oh
know?
God, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a totally different. I could see why
Yeah.
your mind gets fried, but like after 5 years, if you're still institutionalized after a year or two, it's because you want to be. You know,
Mhm.
if you don't want to let it go, you know, it's a lot of people. It's all they know.
Sure.
You know what I mean? The way they talk, the way.
But also too, like when if you get out, right? So I get out and start doing drugs.
Mhm.
That's where you stop. You stop developing.
Well, yeah,
That's the thing that nobody realizes.
yeah. You that's
You stop developing. So
and
like
that's the
you're stuck right
problem
where
with
you're
a
at.
lot of us is that wherever you started using drugs, abusing drugs is where you stop, like relationship wise, maturity wise, emotionally. You stop maturing, and that whole period of time until you finally get it right is like it's like a black hole, you know, for development.
Yeah, you're on a hamster wheel.
And the same prison too. The day you go in, there's no developing. I mean, you're not going to come out of bed. You're going to read a bunch of books, but you're going to be exposed to literally the worst people in the fucking world every single day of your entire life, and your life is violence or a lack of violence. I mean, that is prison. It's just you feel it in the air. I mean, it's like it's something I can't. Maybe in war, but like right before the first gunshot goes off, there's like a tension in the air. Like you're waiting for it. You have no reason to think it is coming.
You can hear it.
But you can feel it. You'd be in a room and you could feel the tension building, and you're like, "Fuck, is it me?"
Mm-hmm.
You know, that kind of shit that doesn't go away. I don't even know why I started talking about it, but
No, I mean it's pertinent because that's like we have that sixth sense that nobody talks about. You know what I mean? Maybe even seven.
yeah,
Like you
you got to keep your head on swivel, and that's just
you can feel it.
So I think a lot of good has come out. I'm sure you would probably feel the same way. A lot of good came out for me. I went into prison a boy, and I came out. I was standing on my own 2 feet, and man, for better or for worse,
Sure.
a fucked up one with a lot of fucking baggage and problems.
Mm-hmm. Somebody else's baggage.
You know, and I think I dealt with problems that way for a long time. But I don't lament any of it. I think it all happened for, if not a reason, for the best. It shaped me who I am today, and I don't dislike who I am, so it must have been for something. But so where are you? Like, where are you at now with your personal life in terms of training and recovery? And I'm kind of interested in how steroids fit into recovery for you.
I don't know. I'm natty, bro. Never touched this stuff.
Yeah, me too. I mean, my opinion has changed so much. Like when I first, I thought, I never thought steroids were bad. And now I don't think that steroids are bad, but my opinion of them has changed. They're life altering.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
And they are not beneficial. They're not good for people in recovery or with drug problems. Like if somebody comes to me and they're like, I got 6 or 7 months clean, should I get on a cycle of testosterone? And I say, no. No. But,
So I tend to agree with you in most cases.
yeah.
And if I made you guess, you could definitely guess the cases that I don't. Show me a blood panel that shows me that you're a male and you've got chronically low testosterone.
Yeah. Then you need it.
And you're going to take testosterone because you absolutely need it.
Right.
Otherwise, you're going to be miserable for the rest of your life,
Yeah.
and that cycle's going to continue.
Like if you had high cholesterol, you would treat high cholesterol. If you have low testosterone, treat low testosterone. It's life changing.
It's one of the. So I had, prior to 2017, I had dabbled with all sorts of pro hormones. I never put a needle in my body for steroids anyway.
Yeah.
Richie had his stuff on the counter, over-the-counter stuff, and
Mhm.
it was all real gear.
Yeah.
Right? And I couldn't figure out why every time I stopped, I would spiral out of control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I came out of that thing, and I moved to that sober house, and I got my first, I did my first shot at tests. Not too much, but that 3-4 weeks later, I started to feel normalish.
Right.
My anxiety disappeared for a decent amount.
Yeah.
I was able to put down cigarettes for that time being anyway. I was able to get a job, keep a job, and I just felt better.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until years after that I put 2 and 2 together, like, holy shit. Because I started to learn about gear and hormone levels and stuff like that, and my shit was crashed.
Yeah.
chronic drug use, chronic drinking, eating
Yeah,
like an
eating
asshole.
like shit, plastics,
Yep.
microplastics,
Not
phytoestrogens.
Right, all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Phytoestrogens, that's what I was talking about.
What's it phytoestrogens?
I don't know.
What's it called? What's tofu? Tofu is a
Dog food?
no.
Not even dog food. Garbage.
No, soy is it a phytoestrogen?
Yeah, they say soy can raise estrogen. We kind of want to stay away from that, they say.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I've seen but go on. So you're convinced, and I have I have the same type of philosophy where I see a guy who's got depression, erectile dysfunction, like a lack of lust for
Insecure.
life, not getting anywhere in the gym,
Right.
You know, and like you'll go to the doctor and you'll get, let's say, Wellbutrin, you'll get Adderall, you'll get all these drugs to fix 5 different things, but really in actuality, I see a lot of these guys, they have testosterone of like literally a pregnant woman, you know, or estrogen of a pregnant woman, even worse, and then
Just out of whack. Inverse.
Yeah, I see it a lot. I see people's blood work a lot and test in the hundreds or 200s, a 30-something-year-old guy. And then they go on a TRT protocol, and they come in a month later, and they're like, their life has changed.
You can see it as soon as they walk, the way they walk.
Yeah. I mean, I think that people should try to do these things naturally as much as possible, but I think there's so much working against us in the modern world that the test levels have decreased significantly over the last 20 years, and that's no accident. Fertility rates as dropping.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's definitely no accident.
Yeah, it's the chemicals in the clothes and in the stuff you rub on your body. It's like
everything,
all this shit, right? So
it's almost like it's designed to do.
It's almost as if that would be a conspiracy theory, Frank. And we don't do conspiracy theories on this show.
I'm not saying nothing. I'm not saying nothing.
I mean, we can do a conspiracy.
Have you heard about the mud flood?
The what?
So, you ever see those old buildings in, I don't know, pick a part of the world, say New York.
I have heard about this.
Right, where they dig out 30 feet down.
Yeah, and
there's a whole ass building.
And there's a whole, I have seen that. I watched
Easter Island statues.
Yeah.
Tons of other stuff.
Yeah,
the Kremlin in Moscow.
And they basically say like it's just like debris over time and shit, right?
Well, the other theory is that there's actually, you can use a certain frequency and mud will actually turn to liquid.
Oh, this sounds like some Tesla shit.
Cause the flood.
Some Tesla coil shit.
Well, you ever see the precipice of like the old churches?
Yeah.
They look an awful lot.
Oh, yeah, like electro. Yeah, come on, this is way too esoteric.
Yeah, we're not trying to get
nobody.
Good word.
Everybody just clicked off.
Yeah, well, hey, listen.
They're like, we want to hear about steroids.
Okay, steroids. Back to it.
All right, so look. So my feeling on steroids is ambivalent. I don't think that they're good or bad. I think you can misuse them for sure.
Right.
I think a lot of people do misuse them, including myself. I have definitely misused them.
Me too.
I also think that you can use them properly and get a lot of health benefits out of it. So, where are you at personally
with gear?
With gear, and how does it relate to Strongman? And how do you feel about your overall health as somebody who's in it? Right.
All right. So check it out. 2017, I started gear. By 2018, I was an absolute asshole with it.
Yeah.
Had no idea how to eat. Thought I did.
Yeah. Right.
Had no idea how to eat. Finally got a coach. And he's like, whoa, cut that shit, eat this way, this is what you're going to take, cut my gear by about 75%, and change my life, change my way I saw how everything worked.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, I'm actually training for America's Strongest Man. I don't know if these are supposed to go hand in hand. I don't know if they want us talking about it like this, but whatever. America's Strongest Man.
Don't worry, nobody will see this.
Nice.
Yes. I'm pretty sure.
America's Strongest Man.
130 people might see this.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Quiet. America's Strongest Man's in, it's a pro show. It's an all-pro strongman show. I compete as a 105, so it's 231 pounds. Means I have to cut from the 250, 255 UC down to that and compete. Right now, I would say moderate. I'm under a gram of gear. Combined, yeah.
So for the people who have no idea what that means, what's
okay.
It means 1,000 milligrams.
1,000. Okay, well, yeah, that's simplifying it. But right, obviously it's 1,000 milligrams. And 600 tests, 200 primo. And I just now added in a little bit of Anavar. Anavar takes a little while to kick, so I started on a lower dose. In a couple of weeks, I'll kick it up to a higher dose. Towards the end, I'll add a little bit more oral stuff that's a little bit more deliberate.
And you'll peak up. You'll start to raise stuff up as you start to get closer to
Correct.
it.
I'll probably leave the oil right where it is.
Yeah.
injectable stuff right where it is.
Yeah.
I'll peak the other stuff, and then after the show, obviously we drop that off, clean out for a little bit. My problem is I have a show right after that, World's Strongest Man, which is, like I said, November 11th, 12th, and 13th. So shortly thereafter, after the America's Strongest Man. So I'll take a little detox week or so, and then peak back up. But then after that, I drop way off.
Are you getting blood levels checked?
4 times a year.
4 times a year.
Minimum.
Are you donating blood?
Only if I need to. You don't have to donate blood.
Yeah, only if you're a
Right.
Hematocrit.
Hematocrit?
Fucking fly, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, how is this even...
It's a thing. I don't know. I'm trying to ignore it.
So yeah, if you're above 17, right? 18? Something like
I don't
that.
know the number
Yeah,
right
yeah,
off the
yeah.
top of my head.
So you're trying to be as healthy as you can with something that's relatively unhealthy.
And there's ways to do that too, right? You know, there's tiers.
Yeah.
You have your top tier. If we're talking, say, hypertrophy, muscle building, performance,
Mhm.
your top tier is going to be their anabolic, androgenic stuff. The
Yeah.
stuff we're just talking about. Your second tier is going to be like your peptides, your insulin, your growth, your other peptides. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously your third tier is going to be your over-the-counter stuff, your carnitines, your nootropics, your amino acids, your adaptogens, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, there is the scale. Obviously, with the highest comes the highest reward, but unfortunately also the highest risk.
Yeah.
The second tier, the peptides, the hormone, and the growth hormone, and the insulin, much less risk, contrary to popular belief, especially about insulin.
Yeah.
It's much less risk there.
I agree, yeah.
And not as much benefit, I would say, depending on how you use it. Right, of course.
Yeah.
But
It's the
there's
law of equivalent exchange. You can't get something for nothing.
Of course.
You know, the greater,
Of course.
greater the benefit, probably the greater the cost.
And even, you know, people say there's no side effects, but we are experiencing the side effects.
Yeah.
They are desired side effects, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a theory called polypharmacy. Where you have guys that just go out there and blast a gram of test and a gram of tren and be like, yeah, I'm on gear, I'm training in the gym.
Yeah.
But polypharmacy would say, hey, like, cut that in half.
Yep.
Add some growth, add some insulin, add some carnitine.
Right.
Yeah.
Lowest effective minimum dose, right?
Sure. Or you play with it to see where you need to be
Sure.
at. Right?
Because people often think 1 + 1 is 2. Yeah, if I double, I'll get double, but that's not.
It works that way with side effects.
diminishing returns.
Law of diminishing returns,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, we just hit a whole bunch of laws. The law of equivalent exchange.
Yeah, that one.
Lowest effective minimum dose.
I like lowest effective minimum dose.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of that.
And the law of diminishing returns.
Diminishing returns.
I think if you use those principles with gear, that there is a safer place.
Should we explain that? Should you explain that? Law of diminishing returns, for example, is like once you reach a certain part where this thing has reached its max efficacy,
It's saturation.
right? Any more after that is only going to bring higher side effects than are actually worth the reward. So your risk versus reward is increased.
Correct. What you want to do is you want to find, with anything, even with supplements, with protein, with anything, you want to find the lowest amount that does the most, and often that takes a little bit of playing with. You can't just go on the computer and say how much protein should I have in a day. Everybody's a little different. How much testosterone should I take? That's another big question I get from people. How much test should I be taking? I have no fucking idea, dude.
There's so many different answers to that.
Take all of it.
So many different answers. You
Take 10 grams a day.
pounds per kilograms.
Eat it. I don't know, dude. I'm not your fucking doctor. Show me some blood work. I don't. What do you want me to tell you? You want to know how much I take? You know?
No. Let's leave that off the table.
No, I take people think I'm crazy for this, but my cruising dose. I don't care what anybody thinks either. I know my body of underground, not underground like from here. Black market testosterone bathtub so is 600 a week.
Right.
That's where I feel the most benefit in terms of like overall. If I go under that, I don't feel like I'm on anything. If I go over that, I feel like shit.
Right.
And that's where I stay. Now, so every doctors would be like, "Oh, that's crazy. That's a crazy too much." And I'm like,
so
"Well,
Jay Cutler does. I heard him say his cruising dose is 500. He's like, people say that's crazy, but fuck them. What do they know? I'm Jay Cutler.
And hey, Jay Cutler looks great. I mean,
yeah,
he's doing his thing.
You would imagine he gets blood work done. You get yours done, right?
I do. I have.
How often?
I got blood work done 8 months ago.
Okay. You're probably due.
Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
feel due.
Is that good? That's not
No,
good.
it's not good.
I think you should definitely.
Well, as you know, so you've been helping me with my diet and stuff, is that I suffered some massive injuries. I tore my bicep. I tore my pec.
Got a tire flipped on your fucking Achilles tendon.
Busted my fucking ankle. I started, but I don't care. It's part of the game. I try not to let it get me down too much. I mean, I'll never have left arm aesthetics ever again, but I'm all right with that. My chest is coming back.
You are all right. That's for sure.
I am all right. Yeah, I benched 315 on an incline for double the other day.
Mm-hmm.
So that was big. I mean, I couldn't press the fucking air, bro.
This whole thing was black.
Oh,
It was the color shirt. Might as well
down to my wrist, down to my hip, bro. Like my whole.
Oh, I didn't see all that. I just saw the
down
chest.
to my hip. Half of my entire body was bruised.
Oh, was that
down.
the hardcore video? They said they're not hardcore anymore?
Yeah, the death metal.
Yeah.
My
The
death metal video.
I love the death metal video. That's my thing.
Yeah, so I took some nasty injuries, and look, for the first time, I have to face the fact that I'm 40 now, right? So everything changed, bro. And people say age is just a number, but your ability to recover, how old are you?
38.
So I peaked at 38, 39.
No.
But I didn't do the right things, because there's a way to age gracefully, and I decided to start playing contact sports, not lift as much and not eat as good, and I paid the fucking price.
Mm-hmm.
I immediately, second practice, tore my fucking bicep from an impact. Then I tore my pec brutally in a bench that I've benched 1,000 times. 375 is a number I've benched 1 billion times.
Who's spotting you, Matty?
No, I was lifting with a bunch of guys, and I was cold, and I wasn't trying to show off or anything. I was running a program, and the week before that, I was doing speed reps at 375, and this was like a back off day, and I was just supposed to do like 5 sets of doubles, like not for speed or anything like that. And I just touched my chest on the second rep, and it tore like fucking Velcro.
You never know when it's going to happen.
Yeah,
That's a terrible sound. It sounds like jeans ripping.
I knew as soon as I dunked it, whatever. But what were we talking about?
Aging gracefully.
Aging
How
gracefully.
much gear you're on.
How much gear I'm on?
How much gear is safe. We don't know. Ask your doctor.
Ask your doctor.
Or get a coach.
We don't know. All right, so
The most important thing, hold on, I think what the takeaway here is if you're a lifestyle person, you probably don't need to be on steroids unless your blood levels are completely wacky.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't need steroids. You can go, you can train hard, you can lift hard, and be consistent. Consistency is the biggest fucking thing that nobody gets.
Yep.
You have to do the same thing day in, day out for fucking years.
Yeah.
Do it for a month and tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Right? You see these guys that are walking around, these girls that are walking around, and you're like, God damn, they look good.
Yeah.
I wish I looked like that. Well, then you have to do what they did, and that is consistency.
Yeah.
Now, some of them, we are enhanced, right?
Yeah. But even then, you're bound to your genetics and you're bound to your discipline. I know guys.
Absolutely, without a shadow
Look at me,
of a
like
doubt.
I'm on gear, and I don't look like
Right.
you wouldn't look at me and be like, "Oh, that guy's on gear." You know what I mean? Like I'm not what I used to be. I'm not as strong as I used to be. I don't look as good as I used to. I'm not as lean as I used to be, and that's just because that's discipline in food. I mean that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
But ideally, I could be on TRT, and if I ate the diet 100% and I trained with cardio every morning, I would be 245, and I would look pretty good.
Absolutely,
But
without a shadow of doubt.
And I know guys who take 2 or 3 grams of gear and they look like dog shit.
Absolute
and I know
dog shit.
kids that are natural, 20-year-old natural kids who are shredded like Ziz, So, God rest his soul. But okay, so look, this is what I wanted to talk to you about. So you're a strong man, right? So I see this this is a question I have for competitors. What's the fucking goal? Like, what is it what is the best possible outcome of competing the way you do for the amount of time that you have? Like, what is it that you want out of strongman? What would make you happy?
To know that I gave it my all. So I know that sounds so cheesy, right?
That's
But already where I compete,
corny.
already in the level that I compete with the best guys in the world, right? I have a hard time saying that I'm one of the best guys in the world just because
237, we said?
231.
231.
Right. I pull more than a lot of heavyweight guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the heavyweight qualifier that just happened, I came in 20th.
Yeah.
Out of 60 or 70 guys, or whatever many fucking guys were on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's super competitive at your size.
Super competitive.
Yeah.
So, I think the goal is
just the competition is the goal. The journey is the goal. That sounds crazy, but you have that weekend fueled with alpha, with just absolute will and determination.
Single-mindedness.
Yeah, but there's also camaraderie, because I'm not going there hoping this motherfucker breaks his ankle.
Yeah, but you want to win.
Of course I want to win.
Yeah.
Of course I want to win. But I want to beat him at his best.
Yeah, these are your people. Yeah.
I want to beat him at his best. I want to see him kick ass. I want to see him do better than he's ever done. But I want to win.
So, like, what do you think separates your mindset? So I just saw recently, I guess, Larry Wheels broke his back. I don't know if that was
Did he?
I don't know if that was a thumbnail, but I didn't even click on it because that guy gets injured every 5 seconds, so I didn't even watch the video. But so my question to you, and this is I'll give you some perspective on why I'm saying this. So when I was powerlifting, at some point the realization dawned on me that I was not going to be the best even in New Jersey. It just wasn't going to happen. I was never going to squat over 800 pounds, or at least what it would take for me to get to that level, the amount of gear and how much I would have to sacrifice in my personal life in order to make that happen. I thought it just wasn't worth it. I reached a total that I was pretty happy with, and I walked away from it thinking I left some on the table, but I don't care. I don't look back at that and be like, oh, I wish I still did that. And when I switched to bodybuilding with no intention of ever stepping on stage, because that's not why I wanted to do it, I also thought that all things even, if I put everything I had in terms of gear, food, discipline, was that if I'm being completely honest with myself from a physique standpoint, at 6'3", 200 and at the time 265, 260, right around there, was that I didn't have what it took to be the best in the state, let alone anything on stage. So the cost-benefit analysis for me was for bodybuilding and even powerlifting. The cost benefit for me was what is my ultimate goal? So I'm asking you, is like, you're much stronger than I ever was, and you are competitive at a high level. So is the goal for you to just beat yourself, or are you trying to, like, are you considered a pro, right? Pro strongman. So, like, are you trying to win prize money? Is it possible to make money?
Okay, you're not going to make a great deal of money, but here's the deal. I also have an online nutrition and coaching business. And obviously with some notoriety that would come with winning these shows or doing really well in these shows against the best guys in the country, in the world.
Promote yourself.
Will promote myself.
Right.
Which is part of the end goal, right?
Yeah.
But obviously being better than I was yesterday, being better than I was last competition, pushing myself to the absolute limit because I want to know what the fuck I'm capable of.
Yeah, so
I enjoy the test.
I understand. So for you, it's to do the best you can in terms of numbers and competitively, while building up a brand and trying to make a living within the industry. Which is what I ultimately did. That's why I opened a supplement store. I knew I wasn't going to make money on a stage at any level, at least not for another 5 or 6 years, if I ever could do it.
Right.
And I wanted to do something that put me in the vein back then of the fitness world and what I did every day. I mean, it's what I love.
Sure.
You know, I don't feel the same way as I used to, but I still am in the gym 5 days a week. I still play rugby. I'm very physical. It's a big part of my life. I don't obsess in the same way as I used to. You know, I kind of let it go a little bit.
I haven't done that yet. I'm still, and I think there's going to come a time when it's like too many injuries, too beat up.
What's your worst injury
so far?
Yeah,
tore my bicep. Very, very, very minor
compared to mine.
Oh my god,
so complete distal tear.
There's nothing.
So yeah, mine
was proximal, and it was very, very, very minimal. It was back up and running in 3 weeks.
Yeah, I never had been injured, and I hit 3 nasty injuries back to back to back.
That's a good telltale sign right there.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of that had to do with my diet and training, and I was never good at stretching and doing a lot of the stuff that I see you doing in the gym before you even get started. You're spending 20 minutes with a band, and that's not me. And I
never did it. I never did it. But after the bicep thing, after this last recent hospital thing, I said, screw this. I don't have much time left.
Yeah.
In the sport as a strength athlete, I have 5 years if I'm very lucky.
Yeah.
I said, I'm just going to read the paper that I have because I pay for a coach every month. Mm-hmm. I'm going to see what's on it. I'm going to do exactly what the fuck is on it.
Yeah.
And I did. And the day that I hurt my bicep, I didn't.
Yeah. You went outside the plan and fucked your bicep up.
I did what I was supposed to do. I did the exercise I was supposed to do, but I didn't do my warm-ups.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So from then on, I don't care what happens, I'm warming up first, right?
Yeah.
I even added some of my own mobility stuff in there to try to prevent this from happening. And, you know, like what you were talking about was like wanting to be in the vein of what you do, of what you love.
Yeah.
I totally get that, you know, because I have a part-time job where I'm a personal trainer at a big box gym.
Yep.
And with the online coaching thing, I never knew what I was going to do, right? I had no idea. So I was just putting one foot in front of the other, trying to do the next right thing, as we say. And I got a lot of my influence from you and Alan, you know? Yeah, you too. Yeah. Is that shit?
You hear that?
Yeah, don't. Write that down in history.
I'm an inspiration.
Easy. Easy. Open a window. But yeah, so like, I saw that you took something that you love, the gym, nutrition, fitness, put a little bit of ass behind it.
Paid my bills.
Paid your bills. And then, shit, this is actually working pretty good.
Pretty good.
Doubled our money.
Yeah.
Right? Doubled down.
Yeah.
Put another store. Which was a mistake in hindsight. But anyway.
Close that.
You had to go through that to get to
Two
where
steps forward, one step back.
You had to go through that to get to where you are now.
Yeah.
You guys are doing pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Right? So, I found something I liked. I threw caution to the wind, and I'm going for it. You know, and I'm doing pretty well. I saved up enough money that now I'm signing a lease this week for my own personal training studio. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I'm excited about it.
You want to talk about that at all? You want to give it details?
Yeah. So there's going to be a place. There is a place. It's in Route 9 in Manalapan, right by California Gold.
Right down the street.
Right here.
Yeah.
3 minutes down the way. It's an old.
I used to box there.
It was an MMA gym called. It was the UFC gym, right?
It was Outlaws, and I was training with Jimmy Starr.
Right.
So boxing.
I think it was a UFC gym.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it was called Outlaws.
I don't know what it was before, but
anyway, it was called Outlaws, and Jim Starr, good dude.
Yeah, great dude.
I always wanted to train with him, just never had the time. But I guess it got sectioned off after the whole lockdown thing happened, and now it's, you know, twice the size of this store here, width-wise, a little deeper, and it's a personal training studio, and I'm going to use that. I'm going to have clients and, you know, personal train.
All right, yeah.
And if other trainers want to come in there, I'll lease them space.
Yeah.
There's so much room for activities.
There's a lot of room. I've been in there. It's a great space.
Cool. It's a good spot.
Awesome.
It's a nice store.
That's the dream. That's the dream. If you can make a little bit of money in this industry, enough to just set your bar low, pay your bills, put a little bit in your pocket, and then build a thing, and then are you going to stick with the Frankie Pro? What are you going to call it?
It's Pro Concepts.
Pro Concepts.
It's called Pro Concepts. You know, Cassie Concepcion, Cassandra Concepcion.
Uh-huh.
So Provenzano.
I get it. So professional conceptions.
Yeah.
I like it.
Professional conceptions. You hear that?
Isn't that what
if your man's shooting blanks, professional conceptions. Definitely not immaculate. Yeah, you're gonna have to cut that out too.
Yeah, probably cut that out. So all right, so what else? Do we have any other topics? Or if we covered everything on that?
I don't know. It's pretty good.
Yeah. You have any questions or?
No. Well, what's next with you guys? What do you got going on?
We're opening another store.
Where?
We can't say. I mean, I can, but I can't.
You can, but you can't. Okay.
Alan wants to keep it secret, even though everybody knows. Pretty sure everybody knows.
I know where it is.
Yeah, I know you know where it is. And if you know, everyone knows.
No, it's not true. I'm not one of them.
I'm just kidding.
I'm not one of them.
We're opening another store. We're redoing a website. We're redoing the store. We're going to do new floor.
What's happening in here? Yeah.
New floor, new shelves, new ceiling, logos. We're going balls to the wall. It's going to be totally new. I think underground nutrition, but not made by two idiots. Made by two idiots who've learned a thing or two. So Garwood is probably our best example of
Garwood's beautiful.
It's
great location.
So we're going to use some of those we're going to keep the underground feel, you know. But look at this place. It literally looks like two guys who don't know what they're doing. Look how high the shelving is.
Well, it's for you.
It's for me.
For you and nobody
But somebody
else.
comes in and, you know, I got my employees trying to...
Is there going to be a shake bar?
Absolutely not.
Okay, good. No shake bars.
We just won't learn our lesson. We had a shake bar.
Didn't work in Garwood?
I mean, no, it's not like we're not baristas, bro. And that's what I try to say. I'm like, it's either you're going to do a thing and you do it perfectly, all out, Mr.
Right.
Smoothie, retro. You throw away the whole concept of clean. You make people crazy shakes. You might as well make a fucking milkshake, but you got to go Starbucks because nobody's going to want you to throw. Yeah, there's nothing.
Protein in a banana in a fucking blender.
Yeah, because they can go. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
you can do that at home.
Sure.
And it's like the idea is great, but no, who's going to make a shake? I'm not making any shakes. I'm not making a shake. Is Alan making a shake?
Alan's not going to.
No, but then so what you would have to do in order for that to really work well is that you'd have to get like a consultant or really sit down and say, how do I make this into a profitable shake bar?
Sure.
And I don't want to do that because you have to. And there's nothing wrong with offering it if people want it, But the idea of it being some fucking, it's more of a headache than anything.
As far as a nutrition standpoint,
How many shakes are you going to sell?
law of diminishing returns.
Yeah, how
adding
many?
extra stuff that you're just not going to
And
get.
how many shakes do you sell in a day?
That's what I'm saying.
You can sell
No real
20
work.
shakes in a day at $7 a pop. Like,
Why?
why?
Right.
Why? I'll pay you $140 to not make shakes. I want
Why?
that.
Right.
I want that.
Spoken like a true underground. Right?
Alan's gonna be so pissed about this part, but I don't care.
Mad.
We could keep trying the shake bar thing. I don't care, but I'm not making shakes. I don't work at Starbucks. Though.
I don't know. I think the model's working pretty good.
It is.
I mean-
We just try to offer good stuff at decent prices and offer some educational stuff. But all right, real quick before we go, this
Okay.
last little thing. Okay, what are your essential supplements? Like, what are your bread and butter legal that you can buy in a store, Frank?
In a brick and mortar store.
In a brick and mortar store, you use my diet as a template. I'm sorry that I'm not more of a physique model for your
No, that's all right.
for your diet plan.
We talked about consistency, Scott.
Consistency. 80%
Yeah.
is not consistency.
It's 80% consistency.
Right, so I'm getting 80% results, and it's not your fault. But anyway, let's relive it a little bit.
Okay. Did I just do the? You did a reel too. Why did I
Yeah,
make
we're
you?
both fishing. Tell me, in my diet, I noticed a bunch of things. I think it's pretty consistent in a lot of diets that I see. So in the morning, let's talk about the morning subs.
We have copper, selenium, astragalus. What else is in there in the morning? Do I have lion's mane in yours? No, not
No.
yet. You have enough speed in yours.
I do.
We
Modafinil.
have copper. That's going to help with.
Yeah, let's go.
Big thing for the copper.
Taco.
Taco. Love taco.
Tacos.
Tacos too.
So copper and selenium. All right, let's talk about those because I think a lot of people don't know about those, and I see those in a lot of plans. So why don't you tell us?
So I'm going to make it very, very, very brief. All the stuff that I've put in your plan works synergistically together to improve your health from the inside out. Right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so if I had to hit on copper, I'll give you one thing on it. It improves red blood cell function. Red blood cells carry oxygen throughout the body, something we want. Okay. Selenium, the main purpose of that, although it has very many, I like it for thyroid. It's going to help our thyroid to function correctly. Astragalus, I like it for kidneys, liver, and detox purposes, right?
Uh-huh.
What else is up there? I think that's it for the
I
morning.
think you have a B complex.
Well, B complex just helps with nutrient usage.
Yeah,
Right.
and then we're doing some glucose disposal agents
The glucose
throughout the day.
Throughout the day, with your largest carb meals that we're not using insulin with.
So like a Matador Ravenous.
Sure, that's going to help keep our own natural insulin sensitivities peaked.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Because when we're not insulin sensitive, we take those carbohydrates in, we feel sluggish, and then rather than get shuttled to the muscles, the glucose gets stored as adipose tissue.
Right.
For lack of a more scientific explanation.
Right.
Yeah? So we want to keep our insulin sensitivity high,
Right.
which is the diet I was talking about, maybe putting you on for a couple of weeks to just refresh your receptors.
Pull the
a little bit.
carbs out and
Refresh your receptors. I don't think that's the
Yeah.
exact terminology.
yeah, but
you know what I'm talking
something
about.
like that.
Resensitize.
Resensitize.
Uh-huh.
And then at night we got, if I'm off the top of my head, we got GABA.
GABA.
What's GABA?
Gamma-aminobutyric acid. I don't know if that's the exact way to say it. It's something our body produces naturally, but having a little bit extra in our bodies can allow us to relax better and get into a deeper sleep pattern.
Yeah. Also, glycerin is good for that, right?
Glycerol or glycerin?
Uh,
Glycerol, the pump agent?
No, glycine.
Oh, glycine.
Glycine.
Yeah, the other amino acid that's supposed to.
Glycine is also good for it, but then you can get that in collagen. It's very heavy in collagen.
Collagen's good, especially the older we get. I don't think you're there yet. I mean, but it's never something that I would say to not take.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Unless you were being super, super stringent
like heading you into a competition where every little thing we took
Yeah, it mattered.
would make a big difference, right?
And what else we got there? We got
Zinc.
zinc,
That's obviously
magnesium.
good for a lot of things. Magnesium's another one. We like magnesium threonate in the morning.
Uh-huh.
Magnesium glycinate at night. Glycinate's going to help us to relax a little bit, calm our muscles down. Magnesium also helps with mineral balance, electrolyte balance.
Big fan of overdosing on magnesium. It's good for you. A lot of people don't take it.
Magnesium's real good. The difference is between a lot of people is the burn off rate.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're super active, have a lot of strenuous activity, you'll burn through magnesium at a quicker rate, and then the other electrolytes will get thrown out of balance. So we want to keep magnesium in. Zinc's good for a whole host of things, but I like it for digestion. You know, it's good for digestion. Magnesium, what else is in there? I have ashwagandha.
Ashwagandha.
I like that post-workout. And at night or with meal 5 on rest days, ashwagandha is going to allow your body to, and you need this bad,
What?
to relax. It's going to allow your body to put that fucking drink down. It's his 14th energy drink of the day. You open the back door of his car and they just fall out like an alcoholic.
That's not a joke.
It's not a joke. How many... I asked Scott, I must be a terrible coach because it took me this long to ask how much caffeine he drank, in a day, and his answer was
2 grams.
2 grams. So if you go back to our testosterone conversation, that's 2,000 milligrams. For reference, that has 200 or 300 in it.
But I drink 5 espressos in the morning.
That's 400 milligrams. Each espresso, that's 450 milligrams. Each espresso has 90 grams of caffeine in it. 90 milligrams of caffeine in it.
You're shaking the table.
Sorry.
You're getting worked up.
No, I'm not getting worked up. So anyway, we want to mitigate that cortisol.
We want to mitigate that cortisol response. So what are we going to do about it?
We're going to put some new shit into a plan. I'm
I need some.
going to take some time to think about it. But ashwagandha is one of the ways we do that. After post-workout, I like to take I definitely like growth post-workout. But I like to take the ashwagandha post-workout.
A little growth hormone post-workout?
Love post-workout growth hormone. And that depleted environment seems to work really well.
Yeah.
But the ashwagandha is going to bring us down to homeostasis, let us breathe, knock that cortisol down,
Okay.
and allow us to digest that post-workout meal a little bit better and have the nutrients go where they're supposed to go.
I like how we tied this into your training and my supplement store at the end. We really brought it around and turned this into like a little advertisement. You can buy all these things here, right? I don't know if
I mean, you go to Amazon and get them cheaper. No, you could buy all of them here except for fucking Matador.
We're sold out.
Oh, yeah.
Did we get it in?
No, you didn't get it in.
I'm gonna have to talk to Tommy.
I think I came here early today.
I'm gonna have to talk to Tommy about that. My manager's slipping. All right, so I think we covered everything. It's going to be a good one. I think. Imagine it didn't record.
We could do it again. Maybe we can actually write some
How long have we
jokes.
been doing this?
I don't know.
An hour, probably. That's good.
It's fine.
All right, so that's it. That's it. We did a great show,
yeah,
and maybe we'll do it again. Maybe if people watch it,
sure,
we'll do it again.
How about question and answer?
Q&As.
Yeah, why don't we let you guys send us some questions, and we will attempt to answer them. Maybe this time we'll be funny.
All right. Thanks for coming.
Did we?
We did.
Just pound?
We don't do that. Come on, don't fail me now.
Shit.